Well, good morning. I know it was short notice, but if anyone joins me today, welcome. I usually like to be outside in my garden, but it is already like 90 degrees outside. So I decided to film indoors in my husband's lovely study. Well, let's see. Today we are going to be doing an exercise called Lectio Divina or Lectio Divina. And if you're watching this right now, you are actually watching a recording because it was broadcast on YouTube Live. So any of the comments in the comment section will be posted, but they will be posted not in real time. So I will see your comments and then get back to you later. And I hope you will comment as we go along. So for those of you who don't know, Lectio Divina is an ancient discipline that dates back to like the 6th century. And in Latin, it means divine or sacred reading. And it's a form of listening to God through a portion of the Bible and taking a portion of the scriptures and just diving deep down into it. Instead of listening to it just once or reading through it once, we read through it 4 times and we reflect on the text in silence after each time and just ask God to speak to us through the words of scripture and connect it with our everyday lives. And so this kind of reading is different than what you would do for information. It is different than Bible study. It is a more contemplative form of reading, and we read it for a kind of transformation that is more holistic than just an intellectual transformation. So for some people, the silence or the contemplation piece of it might be new or uncomfortable. And I just invite you to notice that if that is the case and just embrace it. It's okay. It's normal for things to be a little bit awkward if you are just trying something out for the first time and we're all learning together. But I will walk you through each of the steps, and you might want to pause this video and grab a journal and a pen or some kind of device to write in. And if you are just needing more time, you can just pause the video. All right. So I will read the passage through 4 times, and after each reading, I will give you directions at each step. And if it helps, I just encourage you to write your questions and also your responses in the journal, and don't worry about making a mistake. You really can't with this. God just enjoys it when we stop to spend time with him and to listen to him, just as we love it when a friend stops and drops everything to spend time with us. So first of all, go ahead and just mute your phone if you have a phone, if you're on it, just make sure you're like on Do Not Disturb. And close your eyes and take some deep, slow breaths. Just like in my other videos where I showed you how to do some breathing exercises. And just continue with your eyes closed and take some time to unburden your mind and get yourself comfortable. And if you find that your mind is really spinning or busy and you're having difficulty slowing down, just jot down some of the quick things that come to mind on a piece of paper to come back to later, and then set them aside. And now just invite God to meet you during this time. And ask Him to be present and to speak. Now, as I read today's passage, Psalm 46, 1 through 7, slow down and focus fully on the passage at hand. In this first reading, I like to imagine that I'm sinking into the words or the passage as if they're a giant beanbag chair. And just let them wash over you and soak the words in. Psalm 46, 1 through 7. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar. Kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice. The earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. As you sink into these words, ask yourself, what does a text say simply that everyone can understand? And now, as I read this passage a second time, look for a word or phrase that stands out to you or seems to shimmer. Look for a word or phrase that stands out to you or seems to shimmer. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. And so now, in this next minute of silence, hold that phrase or word that stood out to you in your mind and turn it over and over in your mind. You can imagine maybe it's written on a smooth stone and you turn that stone over and over in your fingers. Or you can imagine that phrase or word, something that you're just chewing on, just mulling over. Take a minute of silence to do that. And so now, as I read this passage a second time, ask yourself, what in my life needed to hear this word or phrase today? What in my life needed to hear this word or phrase today? And how does that word or phrase connect with my life today? How does that word or phrase connect with my life today? God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar. Kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice. The earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Take this minute of silence and ask yourself, what do I want to say to God in response to what I am hearing? What do I want to say to God in response to what I am hearing? Go ahead and spend some time talking to God as if He were sitting across from you or next to you about what you're hearing in this passage today. And just remember, if you need more time, you can pause the video and take as much time as you need and then restart when you're ready. As I read this passage for the last time, just bask in God's presence. If you have a favorite mental place, imagine yourself there with God and picture God, your creator, gazing at you with a loving gaze and all the love in the world. If the first reading was about sinking into the words of the passage, think of this last reading as sinking into God's presence or into the arms of Jesus. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. And just take this minute to enjoy resting in God beyond thoughts or words or images. Just open yourself to God's love and presence and enjoy it. God, we thank you for your words to us today. Help us to treasure them in our heart. Be with us as we remember them and this time with you throughout the day. Amen. So now take some time and you can journal your responses to these questions, and I'll put them in the comments here for you. Hold on. Oh, maybe I won't. Sorry. It does not want to allow me to post them. I will post them later in the description below. But take some time and journal your responses to these questions. What was this experience like for you? What was this experience like for you? Was it familiar? Was it challenging? What were some of the places maybe that you felt resistance or that went smoothly, that you enjoyed? What, if anything, did you hear from God today? And how do you feel about it? What, if anything, did you hear from God today? And how do you feel about it? What parts of the experience were uncomfortable or a stretch for you? What parts of the experience were uncomfortable or a stretch for you? And where did you most connect with God? Where did you most connect with God? And how could this exercise strengthen your capacity to hear God's voice? How could this discipline strengthen your capacity to hear God's voice? And what are the dangers or the downsides of listening to God in this way? And how could those be tempered or lessened? What are the dangers or the downsides of listening to God in this way? And how could those be tempered or lessened? So you'll obviously need more time probably to journal your responses to those questions, but I just wanted to add that you may not have heard anything, and that is totally fine. Or maybe what you did hear doesn't seem to have a connection to your life yet. That's completely normal as well. Sometimes God gives us a word or a phrase for later on in our life. So keep looking and listening for a connection as you go through your day or your week. And if you felt like you didn't hear anything specific, that is fine. Just thank God for the time to stop and to just be with them, because it's not always about, it's just like if you and I had a conversation, you don't hang up the phone and go, wow, I just really felt like I realized something profound or heard something really deep from you. It's just spending time. I cook on the phone with my friends sometimes, right? Or do my nails or whatever. It's more about the connection that you have, spending time with Jesus and being available to hear if Jesus wants to tell you something. That's the most important piece of it. So a lot of what I'll be sharing with you in these videos comes from my work at Fuller Theological Seminary. And one of the premises we hold is that our formation and our learning comes from integrating three things. So spiritual practices, and reflection and relationships, which we just did the reflection piece and the spiritual practice piece. The third is relationships. So this is your homework, to share something that you learned from today's practice and reflection with someone else. Even if you didn't hear anything specific, just as you're journaling, if you find, oh, I did this exercise and this came up and it didn't feel great, or this was really, brought me a lot of peace, go ahead and share that. And so you have a few options for bringing in that relationship aspect of the trio I just named. The first one is that you can share it with somebody that you already know. The second one is that you can share in the comments below. Or the third one is you can share with me via email. And my email is in the About tab of my channel, but it is Yolanda, E as in elephant, S as in Sam, Miller @gmail.com. So thanks for joining me today. And if you like this exercise, you would like more content like it, feel free to hit like and subscribe and share with your friends. Have a great day.